G'day punters, this episode of The Weigh-In is brought to you by members only. We've just published our results for the month of May. We finished 88.75 units in front, so that is the equivalent of $887.50 for a $10 punter. We offer daily tips, it's $9.95 per week, 7-day free trial for a limited time. So jump on board, we're going to pop the link in the bio of the show. Enjoy the episode. G'day punters, welcome back to episode 5 of The Weigh-In. I'm joined as always by Luke Marlowe. How was your weekend, mate?
Hey Blakey, hey everyone. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I was working on Saturday down at Kembla Grange. Enjoyed the racing. Had a few hard luck stories, but mate, it was good. Had a nice weekend, good Sunday, so no complaints.
Good job.
Actually, I went to Mr. Wong on Sunday.
Did ya?
No better feed in Sydney, I'd suggest. Just outstanding, and had about 5 red wines. So I was in bed nice and early anyway.
That wouldn't have been cheap. Did you have my favourite dish? There is the Wagyu steak.
Yes, we had that.
How good is it? They slice it up nice and thin.
Oh,
delicious.
Outstanding. And we had the Balmain bugs, but they came deep fried, which I didn't forecast, but it was outstanding as well. And I love seafood, so a few oysters and the grouse. So, it was pricey, but worth it. And the missus was happy, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, 100%. Absolute fill up whenever you get to go there. You got to have a winning day on the pump, but it's a good place. Racing at Randwick on Saturday. They raced it on a soft 6 surface, and the first race was for the 2-year-olds over 1,100 metres. Park Avenue got the cash, came through a race at Wyong, which has produced a couple of winners. The market liked it, 10 into $5.50. I thought Connexi was very stiff back in trip, got onto heels, probably should have won.
Yeah, I didn't have a bet in the race, but on the winner, Park Avenue, showed a great turn of foot. Actually pocketed Sonnet Star on the turn. It came around them that quickly and won well. Jean Ben Overmere is airborne at the moment. I haven't done his stats in the last couple of weeks, but they'd have to be through the roof. He's absolutely flying at the moment. Second horse was Good Winning Burst. I was cheering it a bit for Andy Adkins, my man. But Connexi, it was never comfortable at any stage. On heels and had to weave through. Definitely should have gone close to winning. It's a horse worth following, I'd suggest. Sonnet Star also should have finished closer, but take nothing away from the winner, was too good. Art Hero showed that race at Scone's no good, that Inglis race. It did absolutely nothing. So I'd say that Inglis race at Scone, horses out of that will probably struggle a bit going forward.
Yeah, he looked like a jet at Scone. The market didn't like him. I think he was $7 earlier in the day, down to $18. But we found that meeting at Scone, they were sort of getting to the outside of the track. So he did find a fast lane that day and got over the top of them. But yeah, Sonnet Star didn't have the best of luck. Connexi's definitely one to follow. And JVO, I just did his stats. He's rode 7 winners in his last 50 rides. So he's riding at about 14% in his last 100, which is good because I'd suggest that the market is underestimating him at this stage.
We should mention that favourite too, Sacred Field. It was pretty short early, SP 240. Seemed to have its chance, Blake, off the hop trials.
Yeah, it did. I was against it. I thought the market was going to be against it as well. It was just a little bit short, and I think its furthest trial was 800 metres, and it looked really good, but it's a different game when you have to go out to 1,100 metres.
Yeah, it had that first trial 900, but I take your point. The latest trial was over a shorter trip, and yeah, it's a different world, race day pressure. It's a nice enough horse, but kind of started on the wrong foot, and did it improve? Not many favourites won.
No, it was a tough day for the punters. The second race was a Class 3 highway over 1,400 metres. They went 6 lengths slower than the 78 won by Mickey's Fling. Swagger for Mitchell Beer. The market didn't like him. $15 out to $21. More Sundays didn't have the best of luck. 3 deep with cover. Market was on top of it. 7 days back up. $11 into $8. And I thought Tipping Point was really good, doing his best work late, back in trip 1,500 back to 1,400 meters. I reckon he sets up really nicely for a mile race now.
Yeah, he's gone into the black book, Blake, with me as well. Tipping Point, the favourite. Manzanita only beat one horse home, which was Sparks, and it bled. Nothing in the stewards report. They interviewed Cody Morgan. He said he undertook it to report back to stewards if there was anything with the gelding in the next few days. But gee, he was pretty disappointing. Open race. I was on more Sundays. So just completely sick with. I mean, how didn't it win? He's only got I think he showed that he's only got that 200, 250 metre sprint more Sundays, and then he's sort of peaks. So he's a difficult horse to ride because he's a backmarker. So can't believe he didn't win, but happy for Geordie Mallion and the connections of Swagger. There's a good video of the owner cheering this home on Twitter. His name escapes me, but gee, give it a roar, and good on them. But yeah, Tipping Point, the horse for me to follow out of the race.
Good on them. That's what this highway racing is all about. It's about getting country horses to the city and getting that winning feeling. Yep. The third race of the day was a benchmark 78 over 2,400 meters. No compromise. Was right down in the weights with Tommy Berry on the saddle. That was the difference between him and Stockman, who fought it out. I thought early in the race, I don't know whether you noticed this, but Tommy was really going to ride the ride by Tommy on no compromise won the race.
Yep.
But I thought he was going to get caught 3 deep because Keegan had a chance. Keegan Latham aboard Feel the Rush had a chance to kick up and have him 3 deep. But Keegan was, in my opinion, riding his own race and found the fence, which let Tommy on the favourite get over and get the cushy run in behind them. Did you notice that?
I have now since you drew my attention to it. And yeah, you're right. I see what you mean. It was, I guess, polite, but I don't know, maybe J-Mac would have kicked up and held Tommy 3 wide if he was on Field of Rush. But you know what? You're right. He was riding his own race, Keegan. I think he maybe taking off mid-race. He did say afterwards he probably wouldn't have done that on Field of Rush. But I can see it wasn't the worst. I don't mind jockeys making a move like that, showing a bit of initiative. He took that space in between the second and fourth horses. He whipped around and got to third at the 1,600 metres. Ultimately, Field of Rush failed. But look, T. Berry, just a perfect ride from a tricky barrier. It was $7 early, this horse, and started 260. I had something small on Stockman. We identified him last week as a horse to follow. I thought he might go straight to the Winter Cup, but he backed up in this race. And who's to say he couldn't back up again and go to the Winter Cup on Saturday, because he was very good and he would get a weight drop there. So nothing to take out of the race, though, really, other than maybe the winner and the second horse, that they can both find their right races again.
Definitely. I think No Compromise is a horse to follow. That was only his second run in Australia. I'd just be a little bit wary about Stockman wherever he goes next. I think that was his peak run. He was on the 7-day backup. If he goes again another 7 days, I wouldn't be expecting him to back that up. And I would think that the market will be really against him if he does run in that Winter Cup. But yeah.
I'd have to disagree with you there. I think after having the 2,400, that'll toughen him up a bit. And I think he's still got somewhere to go.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we'll see what the market does with him. But yeah, I just I think on the back of that was the 7-day backup. They very often don't usually back that performance up if they go again. So I'd be against him, but I guess that's racing.
Yep, for sure.
The fourth race of the day is a benchmark 78 over 1,400 meters. Similar time to Lena's Hero here. I actually had 2 bets in this race. I got it very right. Nikki's Fling and Bright Rubik. I was stupid not to have the Quinella, which paid $20, but at least found the winner. The market absolutely loved Bright Rubik, $6 into $4.20 on the day. The first and third horse came out of the same race behind Midland in the English Guinea, so that can be a race to be followed. Bright Rubik came out of that Dark Jewel race at Scone, which is turning into really nice form. More Profits was $3.10 out to $3.90. Finished off the race nicely, but you'd have to say slightly disappointing, Luke.
Nothing to add, BJ. I think you've nailed everything there with that race. The only thing I'd probably say is if they just went a touch slower, Bright Rubik would have got away with that race up front. But when you've got 50.5 on your back, you're entitled to test the others out and apply a bit of pressure, as Reece Jones did. So Nicky's Fling gave the horse 7 kilos. Was able to run it down, all honours with the winner. And as far as horses to take out of the race, I do think there is a win in More Profits under the right circumstance.
Yeah, I'd agree. She was finishing off the race nicely. Bright Rubik, she did overdo it outside the leader, but she had 50.5 kilos on her back, as you said. So he was entitled to apply that pressure.
100%. I don't want to be too critical of Reece Jones there. I mean, yeah, he could have come back that half length and maybe it would have been a different result. But when you're carrying that weight, well, you're turning the screws on the other ones, aren't you? And Nicky's Fling gave it 7 kilos. So, I mean, the leaders still run third. So
yeah, it didn't drop off. Zora Cat.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I think the market's really identifying those horses that come in right underneath the limit, as Bright Rubik did with the claim for Reece Jones. So, punters, I'd be aware of that going forward. Horses underneath the limit with the claim from an apprentice jockeys that inform who Reece Jones is at the moment.
Yeah, well, especially him because he rides all right. I mean, he's not like a 3 kilo claimer. And normally when they come to town, they've got to tick a certain amount of boxes to get that clearance to ride in town. So, yeah, he's very backable, young Reece. Yeah,
no doubt. He won't have that 3 kilo claim for too long. The fifth race, the track was upgraded to a soft 5. This was a benchmark 72 over 1,200 metres. Gravina was outstanding. He improved sharply from a race at Scone, which is proving to be a really strong form race. That was a Class 2. Dynamic Impact came out and won on Wednesday out of that race, so that can be a race to be followed. I thought Tycoonus was really good, and he sets up for a third up peak run. Cream Rises, lost all momentum at the furlong. A chance of winning again back in Class 1 and a maiden at her first 2 starts, and then comes to town and measures up. Six Gun was really well liked in the market, $4.80 into $3.80, but he over-raced.
Pulled harder than, do you want to finish that sentence or?
I think we'll leave that one.
Let's leave that. He gave himself none, Six Gun. He just refused to settle. Can you forgive a horse, though, that does that? I mean, he's probably going to do it again. He needs a hot speed, that's for sure. Winner was amazing. I black booked this horse first up at Hawkesbury, and I'd sort of been following it. Didn't back it on Saturday. Didn't have a bet in the race, but I didn't expect that it could do that. I know the weight drop was there, but gee, that was super impressive. Stewards had a bit of work to do here. They spoke to Brandon Griffiths about Lennon. It didn't have a lot of luck. And Cream Rises, there was a protest there, 4th versus 2nd, eventually dismissed. But Cream Rises was tightened up a bit. So don't know what to do with the beaten horses because the winner's won by 5. I think there's a race in Tycoonist. He chased well with 59, but not sure about it as a form race. Potentially, I think they could do something, the beaten horses, despite that margin. But I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, well, it's interesting race because like the market identified Gravina as a potential winner, $9 into $7, but I don't think anybody expected him to do that to them. So I'm not sure going forward what to do with him, whether he can reproduce a win like that. I agree with Tycoonist. I think there's a race in him third up. He's going to be hard to beat wherever they place him. Hopefully he can draw a gate and settle closer to the speed. The 6th race was a open handicap over 1,100 metres. Time was very similar to that of Nikki's fling in the previous race. Adelong, market didn't like her. $9 out to $14. Thought Wonderbar was really good. 4 weeks between runs, back to 1,100 meters. The drying track and the upgrade was against her. Marway, the market absolutely loved him. $2.70 into $2.20. Seemed to just want to duck back to the fence, Luke.
Yeah, I didn't play here. I don't think there's really much to say about these horses. They're all at this sort of level now, and where do they go? Marway was back in distance from 1,200 to 1,100. I think that had a bearing on his performance. Adelong was great. Wonderbar was super honest. One drag on the race would have to be that Albumin looked gone on the turn and was 3 wide, and he's come again on the line to be beaten 2.4 when he looked cast. So any horse behind Albumin, I think he just put a line completely through. They couldn't be going any good considering what he did.
Okay, yeah, well, I would tend to agree. It's not a race that I really want to follow. I would say that I think Wonderbar sets up nicely for wherever she goes, if she gets conditions to suit. I think she's absolutely flying, but she's looking for a soft 6 or worse.
Yep, agree.
The 7th race was a benchmark 78 over 1,300 meters. The market really didn't like April Rain, $1.85 out to $2.30. That was sort of expected by most of the form experts. Dream Circle was identified as the one, $7 into $4.20. I think most people thought that April Rain would win, but she was the wrong price.
Yeah, I was a fan. I knew that the drift would be there because there were potters, but I think she gets divorced on the back of this. It was a horrible run, wasn't it? I'd agree. I thought
I got it wrong. I thought she was a group horse.
Yeah.
I thought she'd
win.
I thought she'd win a black type race, but she really set up nicely here.
What was it that we were so excited about? Because you look at the horses she'd beaten, and I even said this on Friday still, I don't care that she hasn't sort of beaten anything. I still believe that she had lengths up her sleeve on a bigger track. I thought Gosford didn't suit first up, fitness, etc. But he presented her, and she literally made up 1 length in the straight.
April Rain's getting a gap between.
Yeah, she was disappointing. She was really good first up, I thought.
Yeah, I was happy.
Plenty against her first up, and I was happy with her as well. I thought she set up really nicely here. I agree with you. I thought the market was going to be against her, but I did think she was going to win. Last preparation, I don't know. I think probably it was that maiden win. James had a bit of a rap on her. James was riding that day over 1,250 at Canterbury, but I know James was riding her in the trials, and she came out and won her first 2 last preparation really nicely, and then she won in town in mare's grade in the 78. She did the job. She just did the job, and then she went for a spell. So I don't know. I just think we probably got caught up in the hype, but
yep,
yeah, I'm off.
It happens. Post-race veterinary examination revealed no abnormalities, so there's no excuse. There's something to be taken out of this race, though, and criminal code is nearly a moral next start. It was an awesome return. Jumped beautiful. Went back from the draw, came up the inside. I don't think that was ideal. Ate the line. I think Waller would probably look to find the senior jockey next start. Nothing wrong with the ride from Louise Day at all, but just a Berry or a McDonald if they're available next start. I'll be having a good bet on it because I think it's come back a better horse this preparation. Winner was well found by a few people. Brad Davidson, I've got to give a rap. He was tipping it. Canasta went great, but yeah, I'm pretty hot on the 3rd horse there, Criminal Code.
Yeah, Davo had a good day. I saw that he found a couple of winners. He found Gravina and Dream Circle, so well done to Brad Davidson. But yeah, I agree with you. Criminal Code, he's really lightly raced. He's only had 14 career starts, and he's always been very firm in the market. So I would suggest that the stable have sort of had an opinion of him. So maybe this is his preparation to go bang, bang, bang and put a couple of races together.
Well, it's his first full preparation for Waller, or it might be second full preparation for Waller, but he was second up last preparation. He went to Canterbury where it didn't suit, and he stayed at the same journey. His run was good. So when I say he's a moral next start, of course he's got to find the right race, etc. But I only say that because I'm quite excited by the run. I really think it's come back in top order, that horse.
Okay, so we'll be following him forward. I also think Invinciano was pretty good first up. She can be followed. She usually needs the run first up and she improves into her campaign. And she was really good there, racing on the speed. The 8th race was a open handicap over 1,400 metres. I found the winner here, which was lucky for me.
Well done.
Market absolutely loved him. $4.80 into $4. I think I took $7.50 on maybe Thursday. Benchmark 88 to open, right down in the weight. 5 weeks between runs. Market didn't like Brutality when the rain didn't come and the track was upgraded. He was $4 out to $7. And one of your horses, Royal Celebration, was very good. Nearly grabbed Lena's Hero on the line, $8 into $5.
Yeah, he was one of mine. I didn't back him on Saturday. I was, with no disrespect to anyone who's connected with the horse, if they hear this, I was death riding him because I sacked him before Scone. And he's run well, but he is struggling to win. He's found one better here. But the winner, well fine by you, had a little bit of a weight pull, too good. Royal Celebration, honest. Brutality, they had a chat to Jimmy Innes. I can see what he was trying to do, just angling to the outside in the straight. That was all fine. He was just mentioned in the steward's report. 11-11 is not going well. He needs a break or something. He hasn't found the line at all his last 2 starts. There's a sneaky here, Dealmaker. I know he passed tired horses late, but through the line, he was just starting to fire up. And there is a race in him over the winter without any shadow of a doubt. He likes soft tracks. He's never won on good. So when this rain comes and these tracks get a bit gluey during winter, he can hold a preparation for a long time. I think they'll keep him in Sydney. There's nothing in Brisbane for him. And you'll see him win a race in the next few starts.
Yeah, no doubt. I actually identified him as well. He had the second best last 200 metres of the race, which was 11:44. The first was Brutality in 11:36. So really found the line nicely over that last furlong. Third up last preparation, he ran third to Rainier and Phaistos. So if he can find a race like that, he's going to be really hard to beat. I think Brutality sets up really nicely if he finds conditions to suit next start. He was 1,600 metres back to 1,400 metres and found the line really nicely. So if he can get up to a mile next start, I think he's one to follow also. The last race of the day, they went 2.5 lengths slower than Adelong, a benchmark 78. Lillamore and Malkovich fought it out. They were both 13 weeks between runs. The 1,100 metre was a little bit of a concern for Malkovich, and Lillamore was just a little bit too strong for him on the line.
Yep. Isn't it a specialist distance, 1,100 metres? I mean, these two, Lillamore and Malkovich, they can just sustain speed over that journey. And all honours with Lillamore, well ridden by Louise Day, camped off Malkovich, got the drag up, pounced on him. Gee, Belluci Babe, it was an interesting read in the steward's report. I mean, he didn't move on it till the furlong, John. Belluci Babe, and he was rightly questioned, I think, but he explained that because of the tempo, he was being conservative on her. But I don't know, maybe if he got going earlier, she could have threatened because she was past them 20 metres after the line. So I thought her run was really good. She's a horse worth following out of the race. She was very strong, and Björn keeps them racing well deeper into a preparation. So keen on her going forward.
Yeah, she's absolutely busting to win a race. The market liked her. $4.60 into $3.60. I think the market identified her when the track got upgraded to a soft 5 because she really likes those firm tracks. She had the fastest last 600 metres of the day. She was home in 32.81. I think wherever they take her next start, follow her. She's going to be super hard to beat as long as she finds a soft 5 track or better. Just to finish up today, did you see the ride of Jamie Kah on Vega 1 in the Kingsford Smith Stakes? How good was it?
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. She's not scared. I mean, it's an inch away from going wrong, but it went so right. When you're flying, you know what it's like if you're on a good run on the punt too. You just expect everything to win when you have a bet. You're sitting there, you're just waiting for them to sail home. And look, she's beauty, isn't she?
No doubt. I really do. I don't think that this is just a season. I think she's going to stamp herself as one of the all-time great riders. I think she's that good.
Yeah, she's great, and you can't argue with what she's doing. Most winningest female jockey now, as far as Group 1, 6. So well done to Jamie. While you're talking about Brisbane, there was another good ride, Senor Toba, H. Bowman. How didn't it win? It was my biggest bet of the day, and I'm just sitting there watching it come up the straight, and J-Mac just extracting every inch out of the winner. He's just too good. He's hard to beat, J-Mac. But I was a bit sick over that, Senor Toba. I can't believe it didn't go past.
Yeah, that had to be one of the best losing rides on the day. James was a terrific ride too. Those two sort of cleared out and fought it out. How good's Chris Waller in a grand final?
The best. It was just the hardest part about the Derby for me is I had to call a race at Kembla immediately afterwards. So anyone who heard that call, I was flat.
Well, that happens. I was a little bit flat after. I had something small on Explosive Jack. The market liked him. He was terrific. I thought he was terrific. He raced in limited room, 9th run for the campaign. So he'll probably go for a spell now. I think it's going to be a little bit tough for him to come back and really be competitive in those handicap races in the spring, just because he's done so much. He's won 3 derbies. So I guess as a 4-year-old, he's going to come into those handicaps with as much weight as he possibly could get.
I mean, normally you can write them off most years coming out of the derbies and the Oaks, out of the Queensland winter, but I'm not so sure with Jack. Watch this space. He might be better than you think.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I think I reckon Senor Toba, your horse, is probably the one to follow in the spring. He's only had 6 career starts. He's a big loping type that is just going to be a big time. I do think that he could snag one of those big spring races because he just seems to be getting better and better and better. Yeah,
absolutely. And he's in the right stable, as you rightly outlined before.
All right, mate. What's your horse to follow from the meeting at Randwick?
I'll give you Criminal Code race out of race 7. I think if it's not next start, he's going to win soon.
Okay, well, I'll give you Belluci Babe for me. I think she's going to be very hard to beat wherever she goes. So that's it. Episode 5, the weigh-in. Thanks for joining us, Luke. Have a good day. I know you're calling. Is it Bulleye tonight?
Certainly, Blake. And good to be on the show again. Have a great week, everyone.
Enjoy, mate. I'll see you for breakfast tomorrow.
Sounds good, mate. Cheers.